Hey, how's it going? And today we're going to be exploring the relationship between LightWave and 3DCoat by way of 3D Applink that's in the Origami Digital Tools. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it? That's the way the world is set up, at least my world is set up. So the program that I'm using right now is 3DCoat. I like this program. And then of course I like LightWave. As a part of LightWave, there's a plug-in set of tools called Origami Digital, and one of the things that they've added to it is this 3DCoat Applink. And I realized why they needed that, why we need that, because I was trying to import a model from LightWave into 3DCoat and it didn't want to come in. And I realized there's another way you can get in through an FBX file, but I just like being able to just get in there, and this is what this 3D Applink allows me to do. So that's why I'm quite happy with it. You know, I don't know if you notice there's a trend with the software that I use, but I don't like subscription model software. I don't like paying for stuff that I didn't ask for. It's just a thing, so that's one reason I like 3DCoat. So anyway, to just do this tutorial, we're going to just show you how to get from LightWave to 3DCoat and back into LightWave by way of this Origami Digital plugin. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a box, a simple box like that, and I'll just hit enter to commit to it and F2 to center it. And then I'm just going to go down here on my edge tool and I'm going to hold down shift and I'm going to select these edges here. One of the principles of modeling is that you always want to leave edges that can catch light. So you rarely ever see an object that's a straight sharp edge like that. And if you look around, I'm looking around the room right now and everything's kind of got an edge on it. So that's what we're going to do, is put a little edge on our object. So to just do that, we're going to go into multiply, go to camfer tool here, and we're just going to click in like that just to make a nice little edge. And then we're going to hit enter to commit to that and click over here in the corner to deselect. And then we have a kind of a nice cool looking thing that looks better than just a regular old box. And then these edges here, these are bigger than usual, but they catch the light and give aid to 3D dimensionality. So we're going to go to save object. I've been doing a lot of boxes lately, so this is going to be box 100. How about that? And I'm going to save. Now here's the fun part. So once you install this OD Tools, and if you were to install it, I'm not going to show exactly how you do that. You would come in here to edit and go to edit menu layout. And then you come here to main menu and you'd right click and you'd go import branch, and there's a folder inside the package that you get there, and it all loads up pretty much automatically for you, but that's how you do it. You import the branch like that. And so we're done with this. So anyway, we've got our 3DCoat Applink. The first thing you got to do though before you do anything is make sure 3DCoat is open. So I have it open right here. So I'm going to go into Modeler, and now we're in Modeler and I click 3DCoat Applink. All you got to do is click this button, export to 3DCoat, and go OK. And now I jump over into 3DCoat, and then this kind of screen comes up, and we're going to do per pixel painting. This is just comes up automatically, and you just go OK, and there's your object that we modeled. Now the controls in 3DCoat are actually pretty easy. If you just left click, you turn around. And if you right click, you can zoom in and out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint these three edges. Now one thing they do have in here, I'm in the paint, what they call the paint room, is they've got these awesome smart materials that already look weathered. And so you just click, I'm just clicking on this one, and then I've got my, what is it, my airbrush. I want airbrush right here. And we're just gonna airbrush. It's kind of fun, you know, we just airbrush on our textures, and it's actually kind of relaxing to do this. You could paint them on with the brush too, but this, I guess, it makes it a little bit thinner coat. And you just go around and you paint, and you'll see where those edges come in, because they really make things look a lot better. And I'm just painting the whole box. And did I miss a spot? Oh well. So we're just painting, and I think that's it. Oh, if you hit your middle button on your mouse, you can move like this, up and down. Okay, well I think that's all I'm going to do for this, painting that. And then once you're done painting it, it couldn't really be much easier. You go here to File, go to Open an Original App. Now here's the sad part. If you come in here and you look export presets, boo-hoo, there's not one for LightWave. I don't know why. The guy just didn't get the memo yet, or they were working on it. But in experimenting with this, the one that I found that seems to, there's different ones do different things, but so far this one, the PBR metalness, seems to be the best option. Also, you can try Octane, and also Unity standard works too. So some of these work, some don't work at all. But the one I saw seems to work the most realistically is this one. This is PBR metalness, and then you just go okay. Now what I'll do before we leave is, and then it automatically is going to create our maps. So I'm going to just turn this a little bit like this, because I want you to see the texture that how it lines up with what we're going to be able to create in LightWave. So I'm going to try to position it in LightWave, my box, to look just like this, so you can kind of get a sense for the texture. Now once that's done, we're just going to go into layout now, and then we come into our OD tools. We're going to go to 3DCoat Applink. We're going to go import, and we're going to go OK. And ta-da! Now, what's interesting about this is that this actually looks pretty good in OpenGL, just like that, just like it does right now. I mean, it looks like it did. Let me go back in here to 3DCoat for a sec. How am I positioned there? Okay. All right. So let me try to get positioned like that in here. So I'm on the box right now, and let's just. Oops! I didn't mean to do that. I didn't want to stretch it. I'm in position. Punch this thing in. Let's go this way, and then we'll come up. Should be able to come in a little bit more. I come in this way. This is kind of a weird way to do it, but it's like tacking with a boat. And we're going to come up, and okay, like this, like right about there. Is that pretty close? Let me look. I think it is. It's close enough. You get the idea. Click here. I should be able to select my light. Let's bring our light over here so we can see. I might have to back up a little bit just so I can see. Okay, let me just come up here and just try to get this light over here where I can actually get some light on this other side here. And we should be able to turn it, and there, get some light. Okay, and that I think is good enough, like that. Okay, and then I'll just come in more on my perspective view. One little trick, I mean, I don't know if it's a trick, but it's kind of a tip. Let me come down. I want you to be able to see the textures just right. So here, kind of matching what we're seeing over here. So I'm trying to get in the same basic position. And right now I'm just in OpenGL. So I'm going to see, it looks like maybe my light's a little bit brighter here. So maybe put in a little bit more light. Let's see. That's a little more. Yeah, I'd say. And then maybe I could put a little bit more light. I can go into my light view here, and then I can boost up the light a little bit more even. There we go. And I'm just trying to maybe like that. Okay. And then let's go back into our camera view. Oh, I meant my perspective view, sorry. Okay, so here's a trick. If you're in perspective view and you come here to the end, you can go match viewport layouts and select selected camera, and then it matches the camera to the perspective view, which is really helpful. Okay, I think that's close enough. Actually, I can just go to the object now and just, maybe I can just pitch it up. Why not pitch it? Bank it. Yeah, maybe bank it a little bit. Like that. And I don't mean to be stretching it. I want to get it a little bit close, just a tiny bit closer to the camera here. So you can see in OpenGL that we have a nice look on this thing. Here it actually doesn't look that far off, right? I mean, it looks, maybe ours looks a little brighter. So let's see. I would say they actually in OpenGL look very similar. And then this, you could even say maybe it's too bright. So now let me bring the light down. So if you're looking at comparing what we're getting, the texture-wise, I think it looks pretty similar. This, maybe the lighting's just a little bit different, but as far as the texturing goes, it's pretty similar from what, as far as I can tell. Okay, but now watch what happens when we go into VPR. it actually looks pretty similar too, so it actually looks okay. When I was playing around with this earlier, I was getting some weird results. This actually looked pretty good. So again, I could back off the slide here a little bit, maybe the light's a little too bright. I'll bring it back down. To be quite honest with you, I would say that this matches pretty well. It just looks darker. Let me turn off the backdrop here and see. Yeah. So let's see. I would say it's pretty darn close. I could actually just. So honestly, with this right here, I would say that this is pretty accurate. That's what I saw, and this is it. I could actually just say maybe bring up the lighting even a little bit more to get it like almost dead on to what we were seeing in 3DCoat. Now I was going to tell you that if you, for some reason, you bring it in, if we go into the surface editor and we look under here, under principled, you can see it brought in the albedo, the roughness, the metal, the normal map, and the bump map. But if for some reason it wasn't matching, you can start playing around with these. One thing you can do is if you click on here individually, you can back off the amplitude here if you wanted. You can do that in bump too. You can back off the amplitude. And so once you bring the object in, if it's not quite the way you want it, you have a lot of additional adjustments you can still make. And so I was going to show you those settings, more settings you could do, but I would say actually this is what it looked like. This is what it looks like. So that's how you would do it. That's how you would bring an object from LightWave into 3DCoat, paint it, and then bring it back into LightWave. And you've got a ton of settings that you can still use to adjust it in the surface editor if you want to tweak it even more from what you'd created in 3DCoat. I hope you found this helpful. So take care, have a great day, and if you happen to know of any settings that you would like to recommend or could suggest with regard to 3DCoat, I'd be more than happy to hear them. So thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later.